Hi, good morning everybody. I think better get started because there's somebody else on after me, so we need to get through this. So my name's Geoffrey. I'm the project director with Turner and Townsend. I've been in project controls rather a long time, so I've been on many major programs and things like this. So I was asked to speak today, and I could have been academic, I could have been strategic, I could have been tactical, but I thought, you've heard all that before, so because this is the first one of the morning and I'm a bit dusty from last night as well, I thought we'd have a little bit of fun and talk about data, because at the end of the day, project controls produces data, but it's all you project controls professionals out there that turn that data into intelligent information. So I'm just going to talk today a little bit about data, projects I've worked on. Does more data make it better or worse, and things like that, and I'll throw it open to you guys to see what you think as well. So we'll try and get through this, and any questions I'm happy to take now or after. There's quite a lot of slides, and I haven't got a clicker. Technology's not here. I haven't got a clicker, so I'm just going to be fiddling about a little bit, so bear with me. Okay, let's get going. So that's just a little bit about me. You can all look me up on LinkedIn, and please ask me anything you like. Invite me to join you as well. So I've worked in lots of major programs in the UK, Australia, and I'm here now. I'm actually working for the Commonwealth Government at the moment on the new Western Sydney Airport at Badgerys Creek, which is going to transform Western Sydney with the Great Cities deal that's going to happen with it as well. So it's fantastic. It's going to be an airport that's going to be fit for 82 million passengers when it's fully finished. Now that's bigger than Heathrow Airport, which runs at 98% capacity at this moment in time, so it's huge. And CPB Lend-Lease have just been awarded the bulk earthworks contract for that, and they've got to shift 26 million cubic metres of earth. When I did some research, apart from mining in Australia, the only place I could find that's moved that amount of earth was the Suez Canal. So that's no mean task for CPB Lend-Lease, and under a tight schedule as well. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. So this is just about the topic. We all know that information is power, and lots of people like to do that and keep that information because it's powerful. But project controls professionals, we've got to dare the emperor to walk about with no clothes on because we've got the information. And you guys have the information. Technology will never take that away from professionals like you out there. So these are all of the places and things that I've been lucky enough to work on. Some like Hinkley Point C, for example. It was a Australian equivalent $45 billion program. Can you imagine the data that was required for that? Because we were in with the government, with Energy de France, the Chinese partners, and the information they wanted was incredible, and all of these other things that you can just imagine the information and the data that people want. And excuse me, I say data, not data. We all have our, like you say yogurt and I say yogurt, and so you can just imagine the data. So I was going to just talk a little bit about some of the different programs and what people wanted from data point of view. So that's just a snapshot of some of the big programs that I've been lucky enough to work on. So you're probably all familiar with things like this. You know, get all the data we can, and then we'll think what we're going to do with it afterwards. But it's labour intensive. It's really labour intensive and costs a lot of money. And clients are getting a bit savvy and a bit wise now is, why are we employing all these people just to produce reports? And that's something we as professionals need to think about, how we can be smarter as well to help the clients out. Because after all, without them clients, none of us would have a job. Okay, so that's just some snapshots of, some of the things that I've actually been involved in and also been part of people wanting data and not knowing why. And even myself in my early career, I've not known why I've wanted it either. So anybody like Star Trek, that's data, not data. Oh. So we're all familiar with a lot of the software systems as well. You know, reports, and different software systems. What one report I've shown down there was it was 190 pages, a monthly report. That's a project report that was going to a project board. And then the executive wanted a 140-page report. And I'm thinking, what's going on? You can imagine the effort to produce them reports. It was just an ongoing, it's like painting the bridge. It just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And the amount of effort and people required to produce them types of reports is incredible and really, really costly as well. And you know, people want reports. I want it in Word, I want it in Excel, I want it in PowerPoint, I want it this, I want it that. It's just forever ongoing, and we as professionals, we need to be smart and really hold our ground and find out what they really need and why they really need it. I was actually on one project, it was an SAP IT project. Transco were building a new software system for their metering business, customer care and utilities. Now, they didn't want a report, didn't want anything. They said, we've gone into a contract with you guys, we expect it to be delivered on this date and for that amount of money. And I thought, yeah, brilliant. You know, they didn't want any reports at all. And so that's going to that extreme, to the extreme where people wanted 190-page reports. And it's, what do we want all this data for? And what do we do with it? Does it make any sense? And that's us as professionals, what we're there for, is to turn that data into intelligent information. So, who has dashboards like this in their business? Who thinks that dashboards have improved the speed and wisdom of decision making? You know, send me your views, please, and I'll send you mine as well. But what worries me most about the trend of more dashboards and tool sets is the effort required for creating these reports. It's all becoming system-based as well. And people are believing what these systems spit out. They actually believe it. And that's taking the focus away from the project controls professional, I think, because it's like, well, that's what the machine says. Okay, but the project controls professional is there to analyse that data and turn that data into intelligent information. You know, but there's been on too many projects where people actually believe what comes out of these systems. And as we all know, rubbish in, rubbish out. And so you guys out there are still the people that's required to turn that data into intelligent information. And that's really, really important. The tool sets will never replace you guys. Although they are getting smarter, the tool sets are getting smarter and more integrated, but you know, it's how we do that as well. So, you know, it's just one to think about for everybody out there as well. How many times have you been in a project meeting and you're with your project manager or the chief executive or the shareholders, and they've got a report that you've produced and they say, I don't recognise that data? It drives me up the wall. It's their data. It's not my data, it's theirs. We've just taken that data and analysed it and turned it into information. And you know, it happens all the time. I don't recognise that data. And the poor project controls professional always gets it in the neck, not the project manager or the chief executive. It always comes back to us guys as well. And that's why we've got to be really smart how we analyse data and turn it into intelligent information. And you know, the tool sets can help us if set up right, with the right people setting them up for you as well. We've got an expert down here as well, haven't we, Steve? So project controls is really simple, really, I think. I think the simpler you keep it, the better it is for us, for the clients, and for everybody. We at Turner & Townsend, and I won't go on about our company or do a sales pitch, I'll just quickly say we've got a really simple service model. You know, setting up for success. It really only encompasses 4 areas, them down there. But I can talk to anybody about that afterwards and how the model works and in more detail if you want to get in touch with me as well. So the simpler we keep it, I believe, the better it is for everybody. You know, we have traditional PMOs and then we have intelligent PMOs. You know, we used to be good at recording and reporting data. Now we need to be proactive and identify and mitigate things before it happens. And that's where the strength of project controls professionals comes through now, is that we're always looking ahead. We're not looking at history. We need to look ahead. Look at what is the data trending telling us. Keep looking ahead. Okay. I haven't got a clicker, so you have to bear with me a little bit. So people who have just arrived. So. And it's all about driving performance. We can help these projects, and we can help the project managers, we can help the contractors, because we've got the information. We've turned it into intelligent information, we've looked ahead, we're trending it. We can really help improve and drive performance. And that's what I think one of the strengths of a good project controls professional is. So I think more data does not result in better decision making. I don't believe it does. And that's why the simpler we keep it, the better for everybody. This is a project controls cube. I don't know if many of you are familiar with this. This is what we use. We have the functions across the top, the processes down the side, and then we have the architecture as well. And we just use this to put together the project controls, methodology, and the tool sets are required depending on the project that we're going into. It's a really simple tool that we've got. And nowadays, because of technology, we can link all of these things together. We really can. So with linking them together, we can integrate the systems, we get the right people in to help us integrate the systems, and we can keep the update cycle going all of the time. Because the processes and procedures by themselves are not the answer, because we then bring complication into it, because we bring people into it, human beings, and they complicate things. And when we look at risk, for example, which is a really big key thing on major projects now, I can never remember in the early days risk being a part of anything. It was only from the Turnbull report in 1999 about internal governance and things that risk started to really become popular, and you can look Turnbull up and research and how all that started and things like this. So what influences decision making? So if we have integrated data based on fact and we follow good practice in how we create the data and process it, the question then is, what data do we report and how? So to understand this, we really need to understand what our people we're working for, really what decisions do they need to make? So therefore, what data do they need to make them decisions? So I think if you do research, over 50 years of research suggests that irrational thinking occurs when people get into groups, right? And we all know that. We try and do anything by committee and groups. Everyone has a different opinion and a different viewpoint, and it becomes more complicated. So, we really need to think what influences decision making. So any projects that you guys are on and the people you're working for, what do they really need? What do they really want? And what's going to influence them to make decisions? And the data that we provide, turned into intelligent information, should be able to help them make decisions. We have our viewpoint, and we need to help them. So it's all about, when we look at the factors that affect decision making, there's lots of them. We go to work on a Monday, we don't feel so good. On a Wednesday, it's hump day, so we're getting a little bit better. On a Friday, we're more happy. And, what is the flavour of the month that these leaders out there are really asking for as well? So that influences what data that we really need to work out how can they make decisions? How can we get them to make really informed decisions? And it's by us turning that data into intelligent information all of the time. We've got to always remember that, and I'll keep banging on about it. So I think this is from the APM, this quote, really. And I think when I read it, sorry APM, when I read it, there's really only a few key words in there, and they're at the bottom. Assist effective management and decision making. And that's what we're here for. That's what project controls professionals are here for. Because we really do. We do have that power with that information, and we need to use it. Do tools and systems add complexity? Yeah, they probably do. My first major project, I'm showing my age now, was like this. These are the types of things we had. We had a drawing board, one of these old computers, and a fax machine, and a little printer. My first project, there was only one computer on the job, and the planner used that. Nobody else. And it was in a locked room. I think we might have had a fax machine in a locked room as well. But we've moved on. Technology has moved on. And you might be familiar with a model like this for how things are put together. It's quite a simple representation of many organisation systems. But there's plenty I've seen that are a whole lot more complex as well. And it's how we fit it all together, how we link them all together with the tool sets that we're using as well. But one thing we should never forget, as well as ourselves on the projects, is the contractor doing the work. All us people sit in nice offices most of the time, although I have sat on porter cabins on the side of dockyards and things like this, drinking our nice warm coffee, we're nice and warm. But it's the contractors out there on the ground that are actually delivering the work. And they have a lot more knowledge and information than we have sometimes. So we really must never ever forget about the contractor delivering the work. And the closer we as project controls professionals can get to them, I believe can help projects become more successful. You probably all work in organisations where they don't want the contractor to access your systems, and therefore the contractor won't let you access their systems. You know, why don't we just do it all together through a contractor where we can access the same systems, we get the same information? It's one thing we need to maybe think about as we move forward. Rather than us having all the information in system over here and the contractor having it over there, you know, you're never going to get one version of the truth at any one time. And so it's something we really need to get closer to our contractors. So how can software help? We've got many experts out there who can tell us how it can help. I've been on projects where I've tried to link Primavera with EcoSys, with Acumen Fuse, with Prism, with you name all these softwares, tried to link them all together to turn information out at the push of a button. It is quite complex and difficult. But if you think about it before you start your project and you set it up properly, then you know, you're getting 50% of the way there to be able to success. And that's why you've got to bring the experts in to help you do it. Don't think you can do it yourself. There's experts out there who know how to do it quickly and they can help you. Good. So just coming to a little bit of a conclusion. Do tools and systems add Yes, they do. I think they do. Because we're not all experts at these systems as project controls professionals. We have people who are experts in the systems and we have people who are experts in other fields. You know, we have what I call planners who know how to use Primavera, for example, and know how to put the information in, move it and work the system. And then we have other planners who really plan jobs out properly. So there's two different types of planners. And I think you get a planner who can plan properly, they're gold dust. Absolute gold dust, and there's not many out there. I've tried to recruit real planners, not just P6 desktop jockeys, as I call them. I want real planners, and you try and find a real planner out there, they're absolutely worth the weight in gold. And I'd pay, well I do, I pay more money for a good planner than I would for a project control manager, for example. And, you know, so, but we still need them tools and systems and them types of people as well. And that's just my viewpoint. You might have different viewpoints about that. But is the project control manager still important? Oh yes, you guys are really important. As I said earlier, without you people, how is that data coming out of them systems going to be turned into proper information that people can use to make decisions on? It can't be. You'll never be replaced. They might not need as many of us in the future as technology really takes off with artificial AI and everything like that, but we'll still need people who understand it and can advise and what that data is telling people. And you've probably all heard of one version of the truth. Now, everywhere you go, people talk about one version of the truth. What is one version of the truth? You know, you hear it all the time. You know, but any project you're on, if you get yourself a really robust master schedule in place, because I think schedule's king, by the way, so all you finance people out there, I've got a viewpoint where I think without the schedule, you know, the rest doesn't matter, because the schedule helps you build your cost and everything up, your resources you required and everything like that. So I honestly think schedule is king. That's a controversial view, All of the finance people I work with don't agree with that. They say finance is king and queen. But I think the schedule is really paramount in any project you're on. You get a really good, robust schedule that you can get people using. How many project controls people out there, how many of you walk around with a schedule in your back pocket of the job you're on? I bet there's not many. Yep, good. So it's one of the things when I was lucky enough to be the delivery director for Heathrow Airport's new Terminal 2. And I was lucky enough to meet the Queen as well after we'd finished it. But I made sure that all of my project controls people always had a copy of the latest schedule in their back pocket. So at any one time, they should always know what's going on that site. And I used to do what are called virtual walkarounds with the contractors as well. And I used to say, show me your schedule that you're working to. Show me it. What are you working to today? And it give you a warm feeling if they had a schedule with them. They said, oh, this is what we're working on today. And it give you a better feeling that they may have a chance of delivering it on time as well. So that's one little thing that I used to do as well. And that's what I used to encourage all my project control managers to do, is get out on site with the schedule. Get out and talk to people. Have a look around. Don't just sit in the office and have data coming in and you're just updating things and this. Go and have a real look. Because we're all human beings and we're all optimistic when we're on jobs and we say we've done this and done that and we probably haven't. So that's a little tip that I would give everyone, is always have the schedule in your back pocket and encourage everybody else to have it as well. And then you know what's going on. So what data is critical? So we all know that time, cost and risk and that is critical. But there's one thing you can never ever get back on a job, and that's time. Right? You can't get time back. You can always do something about risks. You can always do something about money, but time's the one you can't get back. And say you're on a project like delivering the Olympics, it's got to open on a certain date because all the big wigs are coming to open it. You know, that's really gets you. You've got to have it delivered on that date. You know, for big events like that. And so time is critical. I think most of the, because you can always do something about something else. Okay, and then all of the data that you're all probably used to, do we need it all? Like I showed you before, all that gorging on data and all of them reports, 190 pages, do we really need it? And it's you people out there who really need to sit down and understand what your leaders, who you're working for and the clients, what is it they really need? What is it they really want? And then you can work out where you need to spend your effort and your time in producing data to turn it into information. And that's the key, is understanding. And you're only going to get that by communicating with people and really understanding when the project's going, what is it that's really going to make a difference? What decisions really need to be made? And then you can sit down as a professional and work out what data is needed, what systems you're going to use, and then how can you transform that data into intelligent information so that people can make decisions based on what you're telling them. You know, as a lot of the time, there's little bits of information, snippets get let out, and it's only when it gets further down the line and it's too late, nothing can be done about it. Because I still believe, and this is my viewpoint, that sometimes on major projects with major companies, people just see project controls as a tick in the box. We've got project controls. But they don't use it. And it drives me up the wall, you know, because we really are intelligent people out there doing this work, and we can really help these people. So we've really got to keep pushing ourselves. Really push that what we're telling them, these things are happening. You know, dare the emperor to wear his clothes or go out with no clothes on. You know, don't just sit there. Really get in people's faces, and because you've got the data, you've got the information that's going to make a difference. So that's my tip for all of you people out there, is really get in amongst it all as well. So I think this is no surprises here. You know, the lack of good quality data and system integration does adversely affect the outcome. And I really believe, you know, we are the people who make that difference, and we can make that difference on any project. Don't just act and sit there doing nothing just because, you know, a client or, you know, your leader or your boss or whoever just thinks you're a tick in the box because he can say to people, I've got project controls. He needs to use project controls. She needs to use project controls. and we're the people that do that.
Geoffrey, that's an interesting phrase you use there, good quality data. How do you determine the difference between good and not so good data?
Yeah. So to me, on any project, when you're producing your master schedule, it's all of the activities that are going on. So you need to capture everything that's going on, and obviously we all know how to summarise things and everything like that, but we as a professional, we may want to keep more tighter on all of the activities that are happening. And we pull it together in a robust schedule. And the robust schedule is I've seen a lot of schedules that aren't robust because they're not even logic linked properly. You don't even know what the true critical path is. And what float you got, what float you're eroded. It really is, for me, that's why I think schedule is king. You get a really robust logic linked schedule that hangs together and tells a proper story with the right amount of data in it that we want for activities. I think you'll get more robust data, a lot more robust.
I would suggest anything out of Excel is not good quality data as well.
Well, yeah, everybody hates Excel, don't they? But everybody uses it. I think if it's used properly, it's a great tool. It really is a great tool if it's used properly. I mean, I've seen schedules in Primavera because Primavera is the in thing for scheduling. But I've also seen good schedules in MS Project. I've seen good schedules in Excel. I've seen them. But we know the tool like Primavera is a really powerful tool and has evolved over the years. And you can really build a robust schedule in Primavera. But nobody likes the output, do they? Who any of your bosses likes the output of Primavera on a Gantt chart? They don't like it, do they? Oh, can you go and do that in PowerPoint for me? Can you do it in Visio for me? I say, well, it's the same. But they just don't like the output from Primavera, I find, on most projects I've worked on. Yeah, it is the tool that most people use. And we've got to try and teach them people what that schedule's actually showing them. It's not just bars on a page, it's telling a story. And that's what we need to try and do as well. So, all you people out, make it simple. Set it up for success. Drive performance with the information that you've got. Instill confidence in people that everything, all the data you've got, it really is telling a good story. You've turned it into intelligent information, and that instills confidence in people. And the more you can do that, I think the more project controls will come to the fore within your projects and with these clients and that we work for. So just make it simple, but keep going and keep driving it. And keep it simple. Once you've made it simple, keep it simple. Don't start adding bits and bobs in that is not going to make any difference or add any value. Okay, and lastly but not least, we as project controls professionals, we are very resilient people because whenever, on all the projects I've been on, I'm in meetings, I'm in board meetings, I'm in project meetings, and people, like I said earlier, say, I don't recognise that data, that's not what's happening. Oh yes it is, I'm afraid it is. But they always turn back on us. But that's why we've got to be so resilient as project controls professionals. And we really are the men and women in the arena. And that's just a quote from Theodore Roosevelt that you can look up and read that quote because we really are the men and women in the arena. And we've got to be resilient. Okay, that's it. I just thought I'd talk about that today. I didn't want to be academic or strategic or tactical. I just thought I'd talk a little bit about data because we're all used to producing data. But turning it into that intelligent information to make informed decisions is the key. And that's what we're employed for, I believe. Okay? So I don't know any questions or anything, but anybody look me up on LinkedIn or what have you and send me any messages, any comments, I will get back to you. And I think the more we network, the better we can help each other out. And I'm happy to talk about service models, project control models, methodologies used and this, that and the other. Anything like that with any of us. More than happy. Okay, thank you.